Hey, I'm Aldwin.
And I'm Jason.
And this is the Ready, Play, Tennis Podcast.
New balls, please.
Why I didn't get excuse me, can you talk louder so everyone can hear you asking me about my drugs?
I mean, if we had Hawkeye, you would be so freaking embarrassed right now.
Well, how come they can say whatever they want to me?
Oh, it's old talent, that don't work. I just sit on the couch.
I don't want to look like I'm gonna be his boyfriend.
This is what they paid for. This is what they want.
Time.
Ready?
Play. So, we are here with the one, the only, two-time Aussie Open champion, three-time US Open finalist, two-time Olympic medal winner, 21 WTA titles, and mom, and ranked number 13, but not unlucky, Victoria Azarenka. Thank you for being on our podcast.
Thank you for having me, guys.
When you hear all of those accomplishments, what comes to your mind?
Honestly, nothing. I mean, I think that's something that is really obviously things that I won't take for granted. Obviously, I'm really proud of the things that I've been able to accomplish. But it just feels like it's a kind of part of my life at the moment, which I'm living. So I don't necessarily look back and wowing about it yet. I think that would be maybe like a bit of reflection, reaction a bit later on. Right now it's just more like it's just, kind of like good memories that I will say I think about sometimes, but not that much. So it's just more, I've been trying to try to live in the moment, and it's the hardest thing. So when I say I don't look back, I really don't look back anymore. So those things are just, those are great memories, but I try to build as many new ones as I can on every day. So those things are just, part of my life. They part of my career that shaped me into, people knowing who I am, definitely. So it's a huge part of my life, but to me, it's just a smaller part, I would say.
Can I just interject real quick, Jay?
Yes.
Are you because I'll be honest, sometimes, for example, I'll go through my day and I'll be like brushing my teeth and I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember I hit a winner. Like, I remember I hit that cross-court winner. Like, does that ever happen to you where you're like mowing the lawn or you're feeding Leo and you're like, oh yeah, that was a really good overhead I hit?
No, that doesn't happen. That never does. That never happens. I don't really think about tennis that much, I would say, outside. Like, I think more about like when I'm in the moment. Like, I don't think about my matches ahead too much or like tournaments ahead too much. I mean, I prepare for them, but I don't think too much ahead. And I don't even remember a lot of my matches. Like, it was a funny story. One time I was supposed to play Heather Watson, and I was talking to my coach, and I was like, I mean, I know Heather very well, but I was like, I don't think I've ever played against her. And then my coach comes back to me. He's like, Vika, you played her 4 times. I said, really? Oh, I don't remember that. So that's kind of how I don't know if I can call that forgetful, but it's just,
you're in the present moment.
Yeah, I feel like I remember more feelings rather than, moments. So like when I come somewhere, like if I travel and I had like really good time in one place, then I'll have those kind of more of the feelings rather than remembering a particular moment. And I think that's really cool, because I feel like I can kind of relieve the kind of memories but build the new ones.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
you gave us all of the feelings this year and this past summer with all of your success. So you came to the Western and Southern having played just 2 matches, I think, in 2020, and
Yeah.
you had a tough first round match in Donna Vekic, and we watched that match because we were, obviously loving that tennis was back again after the COVID break, but wanting to see you specifically. And after that match, there was just this feeling of, or that I saw, this feeling of joy and relief, I think, in the fact that you were playing and that you had won that match. So what was that like for you as you kicked off the double in the bubble?
Well, that was, for me, that was a really cool moment in the way that it wasn't really about the win. It was more about, I knew that I'm facing an opponent that was really challenging for me in the past, where I felt like I've kind of got close, but I didn't go to, the next step for whatever reasons there were. And that was like the cool moment for me, knowing like, okay, my first round is going to be a challenge, that like right away that's going to be a challenge. And that was the cool moment. And it wasn't, so I wouldn't say the relief, because that feels, I would say the relief is more like, oh, it finally this is over. For me it was more like, oh, that's cool, like I've done that, let me try to challenge myself again in that way, because that was an kind of a really challenging experience emotionally and physically, obviously, but I enjoyed it. And that was like, oh, that was nice. I want to try to see what else I can do on the same level. And I've said that many times in the interviews, because people say, okay, well, Cincinnati is where everything kind of turned around for you, which is not true, because I don't think that the win that kind of helped me to shape. I think that was kind of like more, okay, that's the right way maybe that I can succeed. But I had to find that in the bigger adversity when I played in Lexington, because before I came to Lexington, I was playing unbelievable. Like I played in practice, I played so well, I was moving great, I played practice sets, I barely lost a game to anybody. And I was feeling really good and really confident. But something in the match happened that I was just not doing what I was doing. And that was kind of, not disappointing, but I felt a bit like, oh, like I wish today was success, but it wasn't. But in that match, I kind of found, okay, even though things weren't working, I started to pick up that kind of a vibe for me where I felt, okay, that's how I feel good. That's where like I enjoy playing. And that was crucial for me, because I remember sitting with my coaches after, and they said, Vika, you know what, like today, like it's just not the day that you won, but you worked so hard and things are going to go, they're going to come. You just have to trust and believe in the process. And I remember my coach telling me, like, please don't be discouraged by today's win. And I said, you know what? I'm not. I'm actually more excited. So that was a really cool moment before even anything happened in Cincinnati.
It's funny that you should say, just to give you a little bit of see, for
We're
us,
thinking the same thing.
no, yeah, we are totally thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fantastic to hear a WTA player, a player of your caliber, say the same things that we actually say ourselves. Like, Jason and I play practice matches all the time. And, in the warm up to it, I'll be like, oh, I'm on fire. I'm going to kill him today. And then it doesn't happen. So, like, that's so funny that it's the same kind of situation for you. Like, you could be doing all the right things in practice, but then in the actual match, it's just not connecting for whatever reason.
Yeah. And it's really like, sometimes, most of the times I play better in matches. I mean, obviously not every match, but overall. But it's just, some, like, tennis is, I think what makes it complicated is all the things bring them together. So I think that's what the complexity of the sport that comes with physicality, mentality, and technicality. So, and once you kind of can figure out for yourself, you have the opponent that's trying to do exactly the same thing, and that battle of dynamic and competition in terms of you kind of fighting against somebody who's trying to do the same thing to you. I think that's what makes it brilliant, the sport, but also that complicated where from outside is like it's always easy to sit on the couch and just make comments and just say, oh, I could do this and I could do that, but it's really not once you try it out, because there's a reason why there's only 25 or 24 players who are number one in the world. So it shows over the years that how hard of a task that really is, and there's no luck to it, there's no magic to it or whatever. So
okay. So, I mean, you obviously talked about your success in Cincy. Just a little story that we wanted to share with you. You came to Toronto in 2019 to play the Rogers Cup, and Jay and I went to watch you play Diana Yastremska, and we were like the obnoxious. Well, I'm not going to speak for him. I was the obnoxious person that was like, "Go Vika, go Vika." And I was like trying to get your attention in between, like on changeovers. I'm like, you know what? Let her just focus. Let her play her game. But that was us.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. It was a very hard time for me in Toronto last year. It was really, really tough. I wouldn't even know like who I've met, because I was so kind of, focused on dealing with my situation that was a tough trip. But I actually, I love Toronto. It's really cool city. It's a lot of things to do, a lot of beautiful like rooftops.
Yeah,
that's cool. And I went to the baseball game there, which was cool too.
You saw the Jays. Hopefully it was good for you.
Yeah. So that was cool.
All right, so moving on to the US Open, obviously you won Cincy. First of all, a question I think a lot of people want to know, like we've gotten kind of a feel of the questions that people want to know that maybe aren't the regular questions you would hear, but obviously you were in the bubble, right? You were Cincy, that you went to the US Open. Did you get a minute in between Cincy and the US Open to just like sit down and be like, oh, okay, I won that shit? And or like, what do you do? What is that moment like in between the tournament for you? The tournaments?
Well, for me, it was a super quick turnaround because obviously we didn't get to play on Saturday, the final, but I was there at 7:30 in the morning. I finished my warm up and I was preparing for my match, but so that was not a day where I could just, like that's time to relax, because then you do all the media and all the stuff, which takes a lot of time and a lot of energy. But I was staying in the house with maximum security in New York, and really my time to relax was spending time with Leo, because that was one day where I said, okay, I'm not going on site on Sunday. I'm just gonna stay home and I will do my physical work here, and that's it. And I actually went on the tennis court with him. We had a tennis court and I had a lesson with him. Like he hit some balls and it was cute. So that was more of the moment. It wasn't about, oh, I just won the tournament, because obviously I appreciate it, but such a quick turnaround was more about, okay, let me just unplug rather than enjoy the win. And I always have the rule of 24 hours. It's either 24 hours, either you win or lose. 24 hours, then it's done. So you move on. So for me, that was just more like, okay, I have 24 hours to unplug and just be daily things without thinking about the particular schedule. And that's it. But my more of enjoyment moment was just like to be home and not think about anything else.
And home was the hotel.
No, I stayed at the house in New York.
Okay.
So yeah.
Jay, do you want to ask Vika the question about her semi?
Yes. So we wanted to ask about the semi. Obviously, there's always a lot of attention on Serena and trying to capture 24. But for us as fans of you, we wanted you to beat her at a slam. So we got a lot of hate from all of our gay tennis players that we play with because we were rooting. So I would say maybe it was mixed. Maybe it was like 60-40, but I think a lot of people want Serena to achieve that goal. We had many goals in our mind for you. So what was it like for you going into that match? And obviously you sort of talked about compartmentalizing and not really thinking about your next opponent, but that's she's a different kind of opponent.
Well, I always am very excited to play against Serena. Like that would be my favorite matchup. Obviously, maybe not in the first round because that's kind of like maybe too soon. Yeah, too soon. But I think our best matches always been the finals. Obviously, like recently we played also in Indian Wells on like Mother's Day. So I feel like we step up on some big occasions, because it's kind of more meaningful for both of us. And at this stage in your career, sometimes it's harder to get excited about every single match. So you're kind of looking for those big moments that you're chasing. So semifinal for me was, I wouldn't say it was I didn't feel any different than any other match, to be honest. It was just, I knew that that's going to be a different challenge because it always is. But I was excited to play against her. I was excited to see her, come to the semifinal. And so that was, but other than that, it wasn't any different because tennis is tennis, life is life for me. So I feel like I've kind of learned how to maybe, I don't know, separate a bit the importance of it, where you feel like that's the only thing that there is. But it was, for me, what was super fun is just to play, to be out there. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go out there and play and enjoy. Mm-hmm. And that was it. There was nothing really more to it. I think the significance is for public, for media, because you need to hype it up and sell the TV and stuff and create the buzz. So I think that was the outside. And for me, that doesn't really affect me in any way. So, but as I said, it's always the coolest experience to just like kind of have those matches, and it's gonna and those I think will be the more things when I reflect on my career. That's what I would remember is those moments, those matches, the moments on the court we have, the moments off the court we have. I think that's what I would remember more than just wins or losses.
I remember when those semifinals came up, Aldwin and I texted each other and we were like, these two matches are going to be amazing. And they delivered big time.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of really, really good women's matches at the US Open. So I was really like excited of the level and the, entertainment that a lot of girls brought on all the courts. So it was really awesome.
One thing that we wanted to share with you too, and maybe this is a great question because you just talked about the difference between how the media and like the business side of tennis tries to hype up the matches versus what you would feel on the inside. Like Jay and I noticed this season, and maybe it is well, I think it is true, but you just seem to be more relaxed, laughing on the court, chill. I mean, you've always had this like fun girl vibe, like even from back in like 2012 and 2013. But this time around, it felt a little bit more mature and more like just easy. So can you talk a little bit about that? Like, how did that come out in your tennis, and why did you feel that way?
Well, I will say that, when you grow up young, and you play tennis when it's like for fun, right? So when you're like 12, 13, and all you want to do is play tennis all day long. When I was 10, all I wanted to do was play tennis all day long. And then you start to get a little bit more interest in life. And then you go on tour where everything is kind of new and everything is kind of exciting. And you have that, kind of, fun to be around and experience things. And then the point gets to where everything becomes serious. Everything becomes pressure. You have to deliver. You have to do this. You have to do this. So as soon that plays in, the fun goes off.
Yeah.
And that becomes like, you become more of robotic motion that a lot of times, which, not necessarily happened to me so much because I feel like I have a really strong personality, but a lot of times when, you have to behave a certain way and say certain things and this and that, you have to learn. So you become, more of narrow-minded focus, like very narrow focus on a particular thing. And that way, and it's a lot of these things happen of the environment that, especially like young girls are a lot vulnerable to get to. And you kind of lose yourself with identification of yourself as a tennis player. So you can forget like what you like, what are the fun things, because all is, tennis. I have 3 weeks off and then tennis, prepare, So that becomes like, for some people, it maybe looks fun on the outside because you travel the world and look at this and look at that, but it really is repetitive, and to me, that's how it started to feel. That's why I wanted to stop. It was just not fun, and I can't really play when it's not fun. You can see that like in my game, even it's like not exciting. And that's how it started to feel. And 2012 and 2013, even though, I was winning and playing well and everything seemed like perfect, I was not that happy. I can't say that I was really a happy person to the point where I am now, because my happiness was coming from my results, and it's so fragile. Like it's really fragile. It's just like basically I needed always a confirmation that I'm good. Like I'm good. People like me. Look at me. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And that is not sustainable. So then when that kind of goes away, the downfall is really tough, because when you get injuries, you don't get the same I would say attention from people. You don't get confirmation because you are getting that happiness from your winning and from this, so that's all you know. So where you're getting it from now, and that's confusing. And I see that happen to, unfortunately, a lot of people and a lot of players. And that happened to me. That happened to me to a point where, I was dealing with a lot of my personal problems, and I just couldn't enjoy anything. I didn't know what I like, what I do. And then the moment happened for me to kind of transform. It was a decision to kind of transform a bit myself, because it's just like I couldn't go on like this anymore. Like it's not healthy. And I started to enjoy life. Like it wasn't about, I say that many times. People say, "Oh, are you really happy you won this match?" Like, yeah, I am, but that's not where my happiness come from, because I've learned how unsustainable that really is. And that's why now when I play and when I say I enjoy playing, I am enjoying. Like, I've never enjoyed practice as much as I do now. Like, I really go and I enjoy, I have fun, we joke around, we play games, because that's what it's supposed to be. It's not all fun and games. It's not that you don't work hard, but my attitude towards that is so different. So that is, to me, a bit funny to hear people talk about when you are successful and now you're happy. Well, no, my happiness was before that, and my unhappiness was before that too. So both sides. So, you know, when some people saw me, I don't know, after maybe Paris when I lost, and a lot of people expected me, I don't know, to be miserable and sit and cry. I'm not gonna cry. Like, that's the match. That you learn, you move on, you go on with your life. There, so those are kind of, I would say, the things that really are important to me in life. And tennis is, and you can see that you guys said that yourself. It was a question like, how is that? Where does it come from? And it's not, and it comes from me, you know, from my kind of daily, more, I don't know, lifestyle that I've kind of adopted, and I'm working on it every single day, because it's not easy, you know, but it is what it is.
The energy that you just described, it really is coming through. Like, we feel it. It really comes from a place of authenticity. Like, I wish we could show you the text messages that Jay and I would be sending back and forth. We're like, this girl is happy. She's in a whole nother level. But she could win, she could lose. She's just chill. So it really is translating. And I think a lot of the fans feel that, which is great.
Yeah, I hope so, because one thing that I feel that I will say I've been most proud of is that I've always been myself. No matter what it is, I feel like the good, the bad, everything was kind of shown all the time. And I think the confusion where, you know, maybe it's misunderstanding from fans, because sometimes they see is you on the tennis court, and when you don't really know yourself, how do you expect really, you know, other people to know who you are? So those are the moments where, when you live in the public eye, they are when you trying to figure yourself out and somebody's looking at you on the outside, is, you know, it can be like, what are these people about? Because you are in the process of figuring yourself out and learn about yourself. But it's tough. It's very tough, I would say, right now. And I think it's more than ever now exposed, that vulnerability of being a public person, because you can't escape anywhere.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, you really you grow up in what is essentially your job. And I think what you're kind of saying is that you now compartmentalize. And when we interviewed Jeannie, she said, you know, I'm going to work. When I'm going to the tennis court, I'm going to work. So it sounds like you're going to work, and then when you come home, you let it go.
Yeah.
So 2020 was obviously amazing for you. You had some great results. We read, obviously, and I think you just shared that you had considered retirement. So what is your most favorite accomplishment in 2020, and are you still considering that?
Retiring is not on the table right now. But what would be my best accomplishment? I will say, like, the most silly probably thing ever is that I make my bed every single morning now. Yeah.
Is that something you didn't do before, and that you've done?
Never. I've never done this before. It's real. I make my bed every single morning. I make Leo now make his bed every single morning, something we do together. But yeah, that's my best accomplishment. Personal, I feel.
Hey, that's no small task. I mean, the consistency, the dedication, like
Yeah.
you can't miss one day. So that's amazing.
Hmm. Even anywhere, hotels, anything like that.
Really?
Yeah, everywhere.
Okay.
So I hope the housekeepers appreciate that.
They're like, we want Vika's room because we don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna get to more of the fun stuff now. So we posted a story when we were watching the start of the French Open. It was your first round match. It was very cold, and it was raining. And I was watching here on TSN in Canada. So they pulled some of the highlights, and some of what you said was, "I'm used to hot weather. I live in Florida. It's too cold. What's the point? We're sitting here like ducks."
Yeah. That's not the full story, because nobody really talks about the full story.
Oh.
Tell us the full story, and then how crazy were those conditions?
Okay, so let me start from the beginning. First of all, people who know me well know my level of sarcasm is about here. You can't see. So and it's my bad, because some people don't understand jokes. So I guess people didn't really take that well. So it wasn't my place. And I was talking with my team after. I was like, guys, you do all know that I was joking, right? About Florida. I'm from Belarus. I know what the hell cold weather is. and they were like, yeah, Vika, but it was just the wrong timing. And I said, you know what? You're right. That was the wrong timing, but F it. So I thought it was funny.
I thought it was hilarious.
I thought it was funny. So let me tell you the story. So the match is at 11 o'clock, right? So that I was going to be the first match of French Open. I said, perfect. My son was arriving at 8:30 in the morning from US. So I was like, please put me on Monday. So they didn't. That's fine, which is fine. But I was like, okay, you know what? I'll play my match and then I'll see him after. No worries. So then I wake up and it's raining. So I was like, oh, my match is probably going to be postponed. So it's great, because I usually go warm up. Like I was going to be on the court at 8. If I play at 11, I was going to be on court at 8. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go early. Then I'm going to see him. No worries. Raining. So I said, okay, my match is probably going to be postponed. So I'll go warm up later. I'll get to see Leo, make sure that he's got here. Everything is fine. So I got to see him, and then my coach calls me, and it's like 9 a.m. already. He's like, Vika, your match is at 11. I said, what? It's at 11. I said, what the fuck? Like, it's raining outside. He was like, yeah, but there's no delay. I was like, okay, well, let's go. So we go to the court. I go straight to the warm up, and I'm warming up on the court. It's raining. It was a shit show. Like, it was a shit show. It's raining. The balls are this big, heavy. I'm warming up in 2 jackets, in 2 pants. I was missing gloves. That's the only thing I was missing. So, and I'm warming up with my opponent, and it's windy as hell. That's fine. Like, it's fine. It was just like, what? Why are we here? And I get the point that it's COVID and it was a lot of effort to put on the tournament. I get all that, but that's not a normal condition. Let's all be honest. It's too freaking cold. Not that I'm a spoiled tennis player. It's freaking cold. And you play, so you run, and it's not like, oh, you just jog there for 3 hours, so you kind of like get in the rhythm. It's constant stop, go, sit, stop, go, stop, go. So I warm up, and I was like, okay, well, I guess the match. So I changed quickly, like, oh yeah, you're still on at 11, and it hasn't stopped raining one time. And I was like, how in the hell are we gonna go there? The court is wet already. Like, no, it's all good. I was like, really? Okay, fine. I'm not saying anything. We go on. Walk on out. It's raining. I was like, okay, great. So we warm up, everything. I was like, okay. We start playing the match. And then after, like, it was a third game. So I'm tossing the ball and it's wet. It's completely wet. So I had to wipe off my hand to be able to hold my racket. Where your racket, you can't hold your racket. So it was like 30 all. I think it was 30 all, and my opponent slipped. Like Danka, she slipped, and she was a bit complaining. So I asked her, like, "Hey, you okay?" She was like, "Yeah, I'm good." So I win this game. I walk back, and she's like a bit confused, like why I was still playing. Like I almost slipped. I almost like hit, injured myself.
Yeah.
So I'm asking the umpire. I said, like, you gotta check out the court because it's really wet. Like it's slippery. It's dangerous. And she's like, okay, let me call the referee. So she calls the referee, who I know Claire really well from the tournaments. And she says, yeah, like she checks out the court, and she says, Vika, would you mind waiting here? I said, why? Why if it's raining, why in the world would I wait on the court when it's like 9 degrees Celsius outside? Of course not. I'm not going to sit here. She's like, well, I said, no, like absolutely not. I'm not going to wait here. That's stupid. That makes no sense to wait on the court while it's raining in the cold.
No.
And so nobody obviously recorded that part. And then I decided to make my joke.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I actually saw that part.
In that context, is really funny. So then they said, oh, she just walked off the court. That's not true. I went to see my opponent and I asked her, hey, do you want to wait here? And she says, no, why? And I said, well, then I'm out. She's like, Vika, can you wait? I said, no, I'm not going to wait because that's ridiculous. Why? So I walked off. Like, what am I waiting for?
I like that you're giving us the full tea. Like that's a
yeah, because that's just because people take like little things, information, and they make the story, and that's bullshit. That's like somebody, saying they're Buddha by reading one Buddhist book. Like, yeah, if you take a bit of information and you don't do the half story, you're not. So that's kind of like pissed me off because that's not that. And then she's spoiled. Go back to Florida.
Oh no!
Oh, come on. And then and then when we walked off the court, like I spoke to Claire after. Everybody's like, they said, yeah, the court was not in good condition. And then the argument was, oh, everybody else played. Well, all the courts are not the same. They can say whatever they want. All the courts are not the same. So this is what it is. There's other court who also stopped, like just move on. But it's COVID, so people didn't have tennis. They need to make stories, and I get it. Like it was not the greatest timing, but when people know the whole stories, it's a whole different situation. Yeah. But
we, just for the record, we didn't think that you were princessy. We just thought it was so funny. Like whenever you get into those moods, we're like, she's funny. Like she's just letting them have it. Like that's just so Vika.
No, because it's like nonsense. I have really, really hard time to react to nonsense. Like logical, if it's something logical, even if I don't like it, that's fine. Like I get it. But if it's not, there's no logic, I lose it. Like I'm just like, okay, well, I don't get it. I'm out. So
I want to just share a little clip because all of the gays on my messenger are like, ask Vika about this. And it's like the perfect segue. So obviously we watched, I think it was either in Dubai or Doha a couple years ago. You played against Caro and she hit that second serve that hit the tape and then dribbled over the net and it was clearly out. And then you were like, what's going on? And then you're like, challenge. And then there was no challenge. And you're like, you go up to the umpire, you're like, are you kidding me? Like you turn around to the lines judge, you're like, the ball could not be any slower. And so the question that our friends wanted to ask you was, when you looked over at Caro, because at one point in the interaction, you're like, girl, you knew the ball was out. Like,
Yeah.
Were you like, come on, she definitely knows that the ball was out. Like, this is ridiculous.
I mean, she knows that the ball was out, but in this situation, honestly, like in the match, like I don't want to say anything about Kara because we are friends and stuff. And you know, I'm not sure if she didn't want to like admit it or something. Maybe it was just not the right moment or whatever. Like if I was in this situation, I believe I would maybe react differently. But honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's a match situation and stuff, but that was just like that was ridiculous. That was yeah.
She was asking for a first serve, and you're like, girl, come on now. Come on. You want a first serve now?
Yeah, I mean, I like in that moment, like I'm always gonna be like 100 and just like I'm not. It's not about the point of like. I never have any problems with any players, but if we have anything to discuss, then I just go off the court and that's how we handle it. It's not gonna do it in media like, you know, some players do this bullshit with like back and forth and I said this and I said this. Like I don't do that. I go straight up to you and we handle our business.
You deal with it straight.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not about the media feud, the beef or whatever they call it. No, that's not me.
So we connected with you on IG and you're obviously very engaged there. We wanted to have you remove the veil of what happens on your side of the screen when people like us engage with you, and how do you come to say yes to you know, fools like us?
Well, you know what? I don't have a particular like thing. I don't necessarily. I've been so proud of myself. It's like my personal record. I've spent. You know how you get like the notification of how much time you spend on the phone?
Oh yes, yeah. The weekly the weekly report.
Yeah. So I don't know about this week because I've been on the phone a bit too much, I think. But I was for the 3 weeks straight. My average was 54 minutes a day.
Wow.
34 minutes and 48 minutes. And it was 7 minutes on social media to 12 minutes on social media. So I'm very, very proud of that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That makes
so in those 7 minutes, I have answered your text. So
then
we thank you.
That makes it feel extra special that we caught your attention. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily have like a particular thing about like my Instagram. I'm sure if I would want to monetize more things, I could have done better. But I just wanted to be like, you know, my thing, like what I want to do, and be like as real as possible with what I want to do. And I do look through like some DMs, but not every day and not all the time. So I don't know how many times you guys messaged me about asking this, but
we won't divulge that.
Yeah, I've done. No, I just don't check it every day. It's not that I don't see it and I ignore it. It's just I don't check it every day. And my friend now, John, who I've met through something similar than you guys, I've done like a chat with all his like friends and players. Yeah.
Amazing.
So that he also texted me like I think once or twice asking me, and then I replied, and we've done that. So I do that. It's just like I don't just sit on my social media to do that. But a lot of things that are, you know, personal, who I can tell people are sincere, you know, then if I have time, I always want to connect, because that's a beautiful thing, to connect with people and, you know, share stories and etc.
That's awesome. So one personal theme that I feel like I share with you is that every time I found, like over the summer hardcourt season, you would, you know, because of COVID, you would always come on with like an LV mask. I'd be like, okay, look at that mask. She's flexing that mask. Okay, where's her bag? So this is more like a fashion question, but like you always look on point with your kits. Like Nike treats you so well. You look top to toe, like ready to just battle, but like in that fierce athletic way. Like how important is fashion for you and like, just feeling good, looking good on the court? Like, is that something that you think about?
Well, the on court fashion is, I will say, priority is to me obviously comfort. So that's always been super important, and that's why years ago I feel like maybe I started a bit of a trend with playing in shorts.
Yeah,
I know Anna did that before, Anna Kournikova, which was my favorite outfit that she wore, the shorts. But I felt like, it was, for me, it was more of a comfort thing. I just preferred shorts because I feel like I practice in shorts or a dress. So for comfort thing, I prefer that. And then it kind of started to catch up, and I started to get all my collections with shorts because that was the comfort thing. So I would always pick my fashion based on my comfort. And one thing, like I used to play in hats, in visors,
yes.
but I can't play in them because like I can't see the ball when I toss anymore. It's like messes me up. So I had to find something, and I brought back the bandana because I was inspired by Mary Pierce, when she used to play. So I thought it was like a cool look. So I was like, you know what, I want to play back in bandanas. And Nike didn't do girls bandanas. So I was like, I remember I just had a plain white, my first one. And then I talked to the lady, Suzanne, who I worked with me in Nike, and she was like, you know what, we're gonna start developing because you can't just play in the plain white bandana. So then they start sending me the guy stuff, but it's like covers my full forehead. I was like, yeah, that's not gonna work. So then really shortly after, they developed the headbands, and then that took off. So that was really cool. So those are, I will say, like two like little things, that accessories that were important for me, and then the crazy colored shoes.
Yes.
So that was like that was like super important for me. I said I want always colored shoes and stuff. So those are few, I'll say few like signature things that I would add over the years, and obviously the influence on collections. It was more about all the other kids that are in the collection for every year. And the thing is with the collections, like I try on stuff that is going to come out like a year in advance, and then I forget because it's like, I just tried on for 2021, and what do I have in 2020? I don't remember. So that happens a lot. But in terms of fashion, I feel like my style, I had few quite bad misses for sure. Really bad misses with fashion, and but now with COVID, it's like back to comfort, back to the most comfortable fashion. I own so many sweatpants these days that I'm very happy about. I have bikinis and sweatpants because it's hot in Florida. I live in Florida. It is hot here.
We have a question, a rapid fire game at the end where we'll ask you about your bikini style, but we only have a couple more questions before our game.
Sure.
Speaking of looks and entrances, your I think entrance on the court is fairly iconic in tennis, at least for the people that we play tennis with. And Ostrava, I think, was one of those places where it really spotlighted it. They did a good job of, creating entertainment from your entrances. And obviously one of the things that you bring out on your entrance is your headphones. It's sort of one of your signatures. So tell us about your track that gets you going and gets you ready for a match.
You know what? I actually stopped doing this. I stopped going on the court with headphones. I obviously listened to music before, but now I have a speaker. So in the US Open, I had the suites and stuff, and some other places. I usually warm up like in an area where it's like nobody. So I'll play my speaker. So then it's just not in my ears. And I just, like, I feel like sometimes what I've done, to why I word my headphones and the music is like, okay, you shut off the entire world, like you focus. That's what I was talking about, that laser focus that you have. And now for me, it's like, I want to experience all those things. I want to experience going on the court. I want to experience, well, not the crowd at the moment, but those, those moments. So I can feel them, and that's a bit different, but I still love music. I dance to reggaeton all the time. I actually just listened to Machine Gun Kelly new album, which was like kind of like punk rock type of stuff with a bit of rap and everything. It was kind of interesting. I don't know what kind of mood I was in, but I was listening to that. But I'm a huge lover of music in all kinds of genres, so I don't never have like one particular song. But I'm sure, I would say 100% sure that the most songs on my playlist now are reggaeton.
Oh, gotcha. So one more question on music. On behalf of our
By the way, there's a lot of players who walk on with headphones now.
Yes,
huh?
that's true. Yours feel more iconic.
True. Yeah.
On behalf of our boy Chapeau, what's your review of his singles Night Train and Drip?
What?
You didn't know he released 2 rap songs?
Oh. Oh, I haven't heard them. I've seen him rap on the court, and I think, I don't know if he thought it was a great idea still, but I love Dennis. I'm just gonna say it right away. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know what? If he enjoys it, that's all that matters. I don't think he cares that much what I think about it, and I hope he doesn't.
I have to say, we did on one of our episodes, we did a dramatic read of some of the lyrics, but Cornet Moutet, he raps on one of the songs, and he's actually got some flow.
He's good.
Okay.
He's good. He good.
We're like feeling him as a side hustle for him, like as a rapper.
Yeah.
Wait, who?
Corentin Moutet. He's like that French up and coming player. He's cute with a little beard.
I'm told you guys right in the beginning, I'm so bad with names. I need to see faces. Okay. and then I know, but I don't know that many young players now, because
he played the UTS at Moratoglu's Academy in the summer.
Yeah, if I see the face, then I'll know probably.
Can I just ask one more question before we go into the game? So, obviously when you get your entrance, like the tournament organizers, they play a song. On your entrance. Is there ever a song that gets played where you're like, in your mind, like, why did they choose this song for me? Like, it's not my song.
Yeah, party rock anthem.
Which song?
Party
rock anthem. Like, why the fuck are you playing this?
Those assholes, they...
No, but I was like, why?
Yeah, like, guys, this is 2020. Like, get current for a second.
By the way, I hope you blip out all of my bad words.
Don't worry. We got you. We got you. Okay, so we're going to end our show with a game. It's called the Changeover. And essentially the game, we're going to send you rapid fire questions, and you have to kind of answer them just off the cuff. So they'll be presented like a this or that, or like favorite this. And it's just an opportunity for us to kind of get to know you more, and like for your fans to connect.
All right.
Sounds good?
Fire up.
All right, here we go. Jason, are you starting the clock?
This is all you. Yes.
Okay. Let's Start. Forehand or backhand?
Backhand.
Pony or bun?
Pony.
2012 or 2013 Australian Open?
Both. I really can't choose. Really can't choose for very different reasons.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
LV or Gucci?
Gucci.
Yes, Gucci girl, I got you. TikTok,
I just have more bags. That's why I just bought like 3.
TikTok or IG?
I'm more on IG.
Yeah? We
Yeah.
love your TikTok though. Your dances are.
I know. I need to I'm so shy to post a lot of them. I should just post them.
Yeah, you.
I know. I have like 260 drafts, like literally. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not joking. I'll show you. Look. I'll show you.
And they're all dances?
No.
Oh.
All right, everybody, we're gonna get a look at.
Yeah, pause it. So 322.
Wow.
322.
Oh.
Look at that. Yeah.
Yes, we see the shadow of you dancing.
Yeah, there is one that I did in museum. I actually did a TikTok in museum.
They're okay with that as long as you're wearing a mask, I guess.
I am wearing a mask, of course. Yeah.
Okay, next. Okay, let's say we're all out at a karaoke bar. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Rihanna Man Down.
Ooh, okay.
Dang.
Yeah, I was doing karaoke with Serena once, and she's like, "Damn, that's dark." I said, "Wow." I said, "Well."
Favorite tournament?
Wow, favorite tournament. I love Australia just as a country to go to. I also like I like Indian Wells a lot. I like Miami a lot too. Honestly, it's so hard to pick because there's so many great ones. And I do actually love Canadian tournaments. And I'll tell you why. Because I appreciate people who come to qualifying matches and cheer on players. This is awesome. That's like amazing. And I always love that. All the tournaments are always full and people like appreciate all the players. And I love that.
Thank you for saying that. I feel like Toronto is an underrated city when it comes to tennis appreciation. There's so many tennis fans in Toronto that like know the game. Like we just love tennis. So
yeah,
agreed.
For saying that. Okay, what's your favorite saying on court when you're winning?
Favorite saying on court?
Yeah, like is it like a come on?
I will say, actually say a lot of weird shit, but I'll say, I will say ale a lot because of my team are French. I'll say vamos because I speak Spanish and I have a lot of friends that are Mexican and Spanish. And I say davai. I mean, I say in Russian sometimes. I feel like, I'm just so used to speaking English like regarding tennis because that's like what I've done my whole life, but so I speak Russian just like more off the court, so it's more about like other languages on the court because I pick it up from around people who I am.
Gotcha. Favorite diva? Like
what's diva?
Whitney
Rihanna. Is she a diva?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Rihanna's hands down. I love Rihanna.
Riri's your girl.
Yeah.
I feel like, put out
you know what? Like, I feel like me and Rihanna could be like best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, and I'm like, we have one of our agents is the same agents. And I'm like, every time, like, I feel like I'm going to meet Rihanna. And he's like, yeah, she's really cool. You'll get along. And I'm like, it's going to happen at some point. It's going to happen. It's just like, it's going to happen. That's like, yeah. And I feel like we can be good friends.
I think you should send her a TikTok video and make it happen.
No. I think she's so creatively, involved now. I don't even think that she spends much time on social media.
All right, and the last question of our game is turn up track. So like we're all at the club, we're all dancing. We know you love to dance. What's the song that's gonna get you to be like, oh my god, this is my song?
Ooh, I mean, I don't know if I can say.
Is it like a reggaeton? Do you like do you really get
I love reggaeton. I will say Tusa by Karol G, because the last time I actually went out was in Monterrey with all my friends from Mexico, and that was like the hot track,
Yeah.
and it was just like killing it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I did that. And that's the end of our game.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much. You've been obviously so generous with your time. So
Of course, no worries.
thank
I
you so
have
much.
about 10 more minutes if you guys have any more questions.
We actually don't. We don't have any more questions. I mean, actually, I do have one question that we glossed over. We were talking about IG, and we try our best on this thing called Instagram, but we only have about 300 followers. But we noticed that Leo has 10,700. So can he give us any tips?
You know what? He hasn't posted in over a year, probably more. And I feel like we're going to bring it back. I just gonna, me and Leo's father we'll start doing this together. I hope he will he will also make an appearance on Leo's Instagram. And yeah, I think Leo we're gonna bring Leo back a bit, because he's just he's been growing so fast, and maybe in one way you'll Instagram and all this kind of post, maybe we'll keep some sort of memory for him later on or something.
Mm-hmm. And so we're close to the holidays. The last question, what do you guys have planned now that you're decompressing off for a few weeks?
Well, I'm actually going to hit tomorrow for the first time since Ostrava, so I'm excited for that. I need to go find my shoes somewhere. I have no idea where they are. So, but yeah, I'm gonna start practicing. I've been working out. I haven't stopped doing that, but just back to training and having fun. Staying a bit put right now with COVID, and then travel to Australia. I hope this, all this pandemic kind of will stop soon. And I feel like it's been such a tough year for a lot of people, and so with a lot of things, not just COVID. It's been really, really tough year, but I hope it's going to be transformational year for a lot of people as well, because it's been for me.
Speaking about transformational, before Jason concludes the show, we would love if you could continue to post those like inspirational affirmations on IG. Yeah. Girl, like I wake up in the morning and I'm like, what's her intention for the day? And I read it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like send myself into the day with that intention. So it's so wonderful.
Yeah, I love those. And I started doing them for myself, and I feel like it kind of cashed on into like a bit of not a trend, because I don't like that word too much, but kind of like a daily daily connection to like a lot of followers and a lot of people, and I get even like a lot of DMs of people like, hey, your quote's been really lifting up my mood, and it's inspiring. So that's kind of what it's all about, is to be able to inspire other people and make somebody else's day better if it's tough. So I feel like when you've been through like really low moments, you can relate to other people, and that it happens everywhere. It happens to you every day. I was actually the other day, I was feeling so bad. Like I felt that I was negative towards myself, and I just didn't feel good about myself. So I cried a bit in the car for about 10 minutes, and I called I texted that to my friend, because I feel like in this particular time, if you can share your vulnerability and you have someone who can listen and just listen. Sometimes it's just about listening, not really doing anything. That's such a gift. So if my quote can a day, help somebody with that way, that's just gonna help my day to be even better. So but some days are just not as good as others. And I said I just cried for 15 minutes, and my friend called me and was like, whoa, well, you're in pretty good mood for the text that I just received 30 minutes ago. I said, yeah, it was a moment, but that moment I lived through it. I said I was not feeling good. I cried a bit. That's fine. And then you move on. You go on about, bad moment is not a bad day. It's not even sometimes a bad hour. So that's okay.
Moving on. We love that as a theme for this show. So good.
Yeah, we're so grateful to have had your time. And, Vika, if you're listening, we're looking forward to your sun shining bright in 2021. And we really are so thankful for all of the time you gave us on our podcast. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure for me to meet you. And I hope to, after all this stuff is over, I get to see you guys in Toronto.
Hey, it's your serve. If you love this episode, be sure to give us a 5-star review. And don't forget to share it with others and let them know what all the racket's about. See what I did there?
And don't forget, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Ready Play Tennis Podcast. See ya!